Welcome back to the Bison Information Network. I'm Ethan Birnbaum, and tonight I'm joined by my co-anchor, Mackenzie Stockwell, as we get into some of the stories of tonight. For a sneak peek, we'll be covering an NDSU student who's making waves in the cancer research industry, as well as a South Dakotan tradition that gets a little bit heated, and much, much more. Stay tuned as we head into break. We've got a lot of good stuff for you tonight. Thanks for sticking with us. To start, an NDSU graduate student is trailblazing a path towards success with her new invention, a machine that can detect cancer before it spreads. Mahik Sadiq, the student behind the innovation, says she was heavily influenced to develop her machine by her parents, who are both doctors. She explains in an interview with Inform that they would come home with stories of patients seeking treatment long after cancer had already spread across their body, rendering treatment too late and ineffective. So, Sadiq set out to create a solution for those patients by combining her studies in biomedical engineering with the computer engineering knowledge of her lab supervisor to create her device. The final product, which earned Sadiq first place in the 6th annual North Dakota Biomedical Engineering Symposium, has multiple uses that she plans to continue and expand upon and innovate. For now, Sadiq continues to improve as she pursues her doctorate degree here at NDSU.
If you're searching for a crazy fun night and love laughing, singing, and free things, then Karaoke Kraze is for you. This Friday from 6 to 9 in the Cater Multi-Purpose Room, RHA will be hosting this karaoke extravaganza, giving you a chance to show off your skills, or lack thereof, and win prizes for performing. You get to pick the songs and effort you put into them. If you want to wow the crowd with your vocals, host a concert and give everyone a chance to sing the classics, sing out of breath while dancing, or simply get some laughs, go check it out.
NDSU's agricultural researchers have an exciting date coming up this month. On January 31st, the 2024 Best of the Best in Wheat Research and Marketing meeting will take place at the Grand Hotel in Minot, North Dakota. Starting at 8:30 and ending at 3:30 p.m. This event will host producers deeply rooted in the field that will bring information from the latest on a variety selection, pest and wheat management, and fertilization strategies for wheat crops. Multiple presentations will occur on a wide variety of topics relevant not only to the optimization of wheat growth, but also to the market outlook on the crop. If you're planning on attending this informative meeting of experts, the Best of the Best organization asks that you RSVP on their website ahead of time to help with their lunch planning.
A former NDSU professor has made headlines this week. Holly Hassel, who was an English professor here at NDSU, was competing for a champion wildcard spot as she competed for the 3rd time on Jeopardy. Her most recent appearance on the show was aired this Monday night. Unfortunately, with the final question, she took her $8,700 of her $8,800 on her answer, what is Tennessee? In response to the question, the first vice president and the first president, not born in the original 13 states, were both born in what state? All of the players answered this question incorrectly, as the answer was Kentucky, not Tennessee. Hassel finished 2nd in the game with only $100 left. Out of her 3 Jeopardy plays, she has taken 1 win.
In local news, a world-renowned entertainer will be performing soon here at the Red River Valley Fair. Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias will be attracting comedy fans from all across the FM area when he comes to Fargo to perform on June 30th, 2024. Iglesias' success as a comic has brought him to an international level of fame, selling out venues like the Sydney Opera House in Australia and the Staples Center in Los Angeles. His online presence is commendable as well, having amassed 1.1 billion cumulative views on YouTube, as well as being the star of several Netflix specials. Now, Iglesias is bringing that talent and charm to Fargo, after recently becoming the 2nd highest grossing touring comedian. Tickets for his show go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. on the Red River Valley Fair's website. Prices start at only $45.
This morning, a former Fargo Public Schools teacher and athletic trainer pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a student. Levi Tandy changed his original not guilty plea to guilty early this morning. The victim was a 15-year-old boy who took part in a summer sports program. He went to Tandy seeking help with hip pain he was suffering from. The boy recorded the assault and later showed authorities, stating that he was terrified and didn't know what to do at the time of the assault. Tandy's sentencing has not yet taken place, but he faces up to 5 years. He resigned from the district last June.
Last weekend turned out to be pretty average in South Dakota. Citizens gathered around a gigantic burning effigy of a beetle while chanting ritualistically and beating drums. This sight, which may have seemed strange to the uninformed onlooker, was in fact a yearly tradition to raise awareness about the terrible damage mountain pine beetles wreak upon the forest land of the Black Hills. The event commenced as hundreds of people carrying torches set fire to the giant wooden effigy as fireworks lit the sky overhead. Luckily, firefighters stood watch, but that didn't stop some of the passionate citizens from throwing their torches directly at the beetle. As the night continued on, it was also reported that the chant "Burn, Beetle Burn" rose up amongst the gathered and echoed into the night. This is the 11th consecutive year the burning has been held, and attendance rates were aided this year by a talent show and bug crawl that were both hosted at the venue. South Dakota has a reason to be angry, however, as the pine beetle is described as the most aggressive, persistent, and destructive beetle in the western United States and Canada by the U.S. Forest Service. In the event that they sell cotton candy next year, you'll find me out amongst them, burning the beetle and chanting as well.
Speaking of chanting, an enchanted river walk will take place this Sunday. This walk incorporates interactive art installations from Kidco and the Fargo-Moorhead Community Theater. This event is part of this year's Frostival. Although the frost has been minimal, the celebrations of winter will continue through the next 4 weeks. The Enchanted River Walk is available from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. this Sunday, the 28th, spanning from Woodlawn Park to the Viking Ship Park. Twinkling lights will further enchant the path if you choose to explore at a later time.
Moving on to news at a national level, today, January 24th, 2024, a Russian military aircraft said to be carrying 65 Ukrainian prisoners of war was shot down near the Russian-Ukrainian border while attempting to complete a reported prison swap with Ukraine. Since then, Russia's Ministry of Defense has announced that all aboard the aircraft, including Russian operatives, were pronounced dead. At the moment, it's suspected that the aircraft was shot down by Ukraine's anti-air systems after the country failed to communicate the information about the plane's interception internally. Adding to the complexity of the situation, while Russia confirms that this was the case, Ukraine reports that the incident may be the result of deliberate actions taken by Russia to fail to inform Ukraine's border of the incoming prisoners in order to put their lives in danger. While the situation is as clear as mud, Ukraine continues to investigate the incident in an attempt to figure out what exactly happened.
Arizona National Park has been experiencing strange wildlife behavior. 3 days ago, a bobcat bit 66-year-old park visitor, and there have been several reports of, quote, strange wildlife behavior involving both foxes and raccoons. Additionally, a number of dead foxes were reported recently. Officials have identified the suspected cause of this phenomenon as rabies. Carcasses have not yet been tested to determine whether or not rabies or another possible illness is at fault for the unexpected deaths. Arizona Game and Fish game wardens are currently searching for the bobcat responsible for hospitalizing the 66-year-old victim. And officials request that any visitors who come into contact with wildlife report immediately to the park staff and seek medical attention if needed. In a news release, the park stated, "Rabies is a viral disease which is spread through saliva during a scratch, bite, or mucous membrane contact with the infected animal. Rabies is a very preventable disease in humans with proper medical care given shortly after exposure, but it's almost fatal if untreated before the disease develops."
For our final story of the night, we turn our gaze to the presidential race raging in America and a major change to the political landscape that occurred on Sunday. Ron DeSantis, the second-place Republican primary candidate, dropped out of the race this Sunday after the suspension of his own campaign. Given Trump's lead, DeSantis cites that he ended his campaign in order to free up the schedules of his staffers, especially considering that he couldn't see a clear path to victory. DeSantis' party endorsement was later given to Trump, and he denounced Nikki Haley as candidate shortly thereafter. It's speculated that his campaign may have fallen short largely due to monetary constraints and struggles in promotion and fundraising. For now, however, it looks like the race is boiling down to another standoff between Trump and Biden this year.
That's all Ethan and I have for you. Stick around for Sports with Logan and some new featured segments, including Fargo Food Tour, coming up next.
Let's take this out of the studio and hit the roads as we explore Fargo and discover the best restaurants in town. There's a wide range of foods to explore here. We will help you discover some delicious food finds in this new series that we like to call Fargo Food Tour.
My name is Bridget McGuire. My husband.
Fabrizio Vigiani, and I work in the back of the house. She takes care of everything.
We wanted to just bring it back to its natural form, redoing the maple floors so they're back to the original. They'd been painted over, keeping the tin ceiling. We wanted it to look, a little bit like the West, Fargo being the gateway to the West, but also look like a little Italian trattoria where you come in and there's like just little tables and casual but warm.
The menu is basically like a collection of family recipes. Our specialty is pasta. Some of the most popular dishes are definitely spaghetti alla chitarra with carbonara sauce. So another very popular dish is the gnocchi. We've been having a lot of fun.
And this is really where Italy and the Midwest comes together.
What is your version of the best one?
The base.
I'm gonna have it right. Okay, I have never had something as good as this, like ever.
So good. Definitely come by and try this place out.
The full video is on the YouTube channel. Go check it out. There's a lot more funny clips like these.
I married him because of the carbonara and the tiramisu. I like the spaghetti part. You know English, it's okay.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay.
I'm your friend.
I am your coworker.
I'm your neighbor.
There's no set person that defines who needs help in North Dakota.
I play cards with your grandmother every week.
Hunger is becoming more and more widespread and more known because there are people standing up and saying, hey, this can't happen. We can't be having this in our state, in our community.
I sit next to you in math class.
It's proving that they're learning better and they're not coming to school so hungry on Monday morning. We're engaging them and we're helping them learn. I mean, people want to help their fellow citizens, and in this food bank, in this agency, that is exactly what's happening, is people really, truly care.
I'm here.
I'm here to change the faces.
I'm here to change the faces of hunger.
One kid, one mentor, plus one moment can unlock limitless potential. One heart-to-heart, one inside joke. 30,000 youth are waiting. Be there for one of them. It's time. Become a big today.
Welcome back, Bison Nation, to your very own Bison Sports Report. Now let's not waste any time and get right into the action with the men's basketball team right in the middle of conference play. Now, the Bison would be back in town in front of a raucous crowd as they hosted Denver last Thursday night, green and yellow all in the stands. Denver was rolling coming into this game, but could the Bison play the part of upset? Now, this would all revolve around slowing down Denver's Tommy Brunner, the leading scorer across the entire nation. That's going to be the challenge for the Bison defense rolling into today, as Denver would secure the tip-off here, and we get off to a hot start as we jump ahead to the Bison down 8 halfway through the first. Wheeler Thomas drives in, kicks out to wide open Skunberg, who drills the 3. Later on, Jakari White would find Feddersen inside, who almost loses it, but some good ball movement here to find Skunberg left alone again, and he makes them pay. Skunberg's 15 on the night would lead the Bison. Now, final seconds of the first half, Wheeler Thomas trying to narrow the lead, drives, puts on a move, and gets the basket to fall to narrow it to a 3-point deficit right at the buzzer going into the half. Now moving on to the second half, the Bison with an opportunity to take the lead here. Swing the ball around for Wheeler Thomas, threads the needle to find Jeremiah Burke on a beautiful bounce pass, and Burke gets the layup to fall. Now moving ahead a little bit, fantastic ball movement by the Bison before Wheeler finds Skunberg, who nails the straight away 3. And let me tell you something, that bench is loving it over there. Now, DeSantis going to get stuffed on this look, but the Bison would get the board, reset the offense, and Jakari White going to dribble up to the top here and pull up and hit nothing but net, putting the Bison ahead. Now later on, 1-point game, Derek DeSantis driving here, and he's going to draw the foul. Now DeSantis would sadly miss both free throws, but the Bison able to get the board, and Jakari White taking it to the Pioneers with yet another 3. That's just, that's making the most of your opportunities. There's 2 minutes left now. Bison need points. To Javis Miller, hoists up a 3, can't get it to go, but Andrew Morgan gets the board and the foul to send him to the line. Morgan, just really a force inside. He would get the first one here to fall, and he would also get the second one as well, with a little bit of help to narrow that deficit right down. And next time down the floor, Wheeler Thomas draws another foul. Denver would commit 14 on the day, sending the Bison to the line again and again. Wheeler Thomas makes the first, and he makes the second as well. But the Bison would have to rally on defense as Tommy Brunner dribbles, gets a screen. He's going to get the screen right here, pass it inside to his man, get an off-ball screen, and pull up and convert on the look. Just unstoppable. And it would be all Denver here on out, but a late dunk here by Pedro Lopez San Vicente would definitely raise some eyebrows and a chorus of boos from the stands. Just not a classy act, as the Bison would run out of gas, just unable to close out as they fall short against Denver, 70-78, snapping an 11-game win streak against the Pioneers and extending the Bison's home loss streak to 3. Now, after the gut-wrenching loss, the Bison would have to quickly pull themselves back together as they welcomed in an opponent in Oral Roberts who were a bit more on the Bison's level. Now, the Bison would welcome in another struggling team in Oral Roberts as both teams were searching for their 9th win of the young season. And the Bison trying to snap that 3-game home losing streak. But yet, NDSU was locked in and ready to go here, as you can see them getting fired up, ready to show the home crowd that they can still win, they can still get it done. But much like Denver, the Bison would have to slow down a point machine in senior guard Isaac McBride, who is averaging over 20 points per game, second only in the Summit League to the aforementioned Brunner. Now, the Bison would win the tip here, but they would fall behind quickly, as down 5-0 before Andrew Morgan inside would find Noah Feddersen all alone in the corner, and he hits the 3 to open up the Bison's scoring on the night. Next time down the court, Morgan inside to Feddersen, who's going to get his own board off the miss and put it back with a sweet putback shot. Feddersen would have 18 on the night. Skipping ahead a little, Jakari White finds Wheeler Thomas inside, and he is fouled on the layup and one for the Bison. What an amazing finish by Wheeler Thomas.
And Wheeler-Thomas would make the free throw here with a little bit of a lucky bounce around that rim, but points are points. Now 10 minutes to go in the half, and Morgan would find Skundberg all alone trailing, and Skundberg makes the Golden Eagles pay from downtown. But Morgan would also get involved as he sets a sweet pick and roll here in his left all alone, and the big man will throw it up and make it. Downtown, Andrew Morgan getting involved. Now just under 4 minutes left as Skundberg inside the Burke, back out to Skundberg, and another three for number 14. He would lead the Bison with 20 on the night. Morgan backing down here inside, loses the ball, but it is recovered by Skundberg, who finds Feddersen in the corner. Bang, another three for the Bison. Next possession here, Jeremiah Burke drives, kicks out to Wheeler-Thomas, and the threes are stacking up for the Bison as they would close the night 45% from deep. Second half here as the Bison swinging it, where they find Feddersen with yet another three. All threes tonight. Now a small jump here. Skundberg's going to test it from deep. Can't get it to go. But Burke with the board kicks it out to Wheeler-Thomas, who resets the offense, calms everyone down, and he's going to find Jakari White here at the bottom, who White hits it right in the defender's face. Nothing but net once again. And now we're going to fast forward a little bit again here, where DeSantis is going to find White, who is fouled on the three, a rare foul to see on a three-pointer. And Jakari White with a chance to make Oral Roberts pay here and take the lead, as White would make the first, and then he would also make the second. And of course, if you make the first two, you've got to make the third as well, and he does. Now Bison up by 2. Amazing defense here by Wheeler-Thomas, as he's going to get the great contest down low. And Tajavis Miller brings it up the court. He's going to look up and find Noah Feddersen streaking for an alley-oop dunk, bringing everybody to their feet here. Now 4 minutes left. Miller misses the layup. Morgan with the board, and another board, and yet another board here before finally he gets fouled on this shot. Andrew Morgan definitely upset, but what a display of strength by the Minnesota native. Now the Bison would fall behind here before Morgan finds Skundberg for the three to give them the lead, put NDSU back in control, and Skundberg getting everybody on their feet, begging the crowd to get on their feet. I mean, just the raw emotion and energy from this team. Now later on, Morgan misses the free throw, but Skundberg gets after it, showing that energy, and secures a huge rebound here for the Bison. And NDSU would make it count, as Morgan would get the and one here on the look. I mean, just going right through the contact once again. What a huge basket for the Bison. But he cannot hit the free throw, sadly. So Oral Roberts would get a chance after this miss, as McBride brings it down the floor. And he's just going to dribble it up, get a screen here, and step up and make a beautiful layup here as he gets an and one of his own. Trey McBride doing what star players do best, which is set their team up to win. But the Bison would pull away, so Oral Roberts needs a miracle, and McBride can't get it as he airballs the three, goes out of bounds on Oral Roberts. It is NDSU ball, and it is all but over. And NDSU here would get the ball in, but Oral Roberts not fouling, surprisingly. So as time runs out, the Bison would secure a much-needed win at home as they improve to 9-11 on the year and 2-3 in conference, finally able to snap that home losing streak. And oh, does it feel so good to be able to do so, even if it was in nail-biting fashion. While the Bison were able to secure the win, they will have to work a little bit harder to keep that momentum going, as they will be back on the road again, this time headed east to St. Paul, as they face off against a St. Thomas team that is in contention for the top spot in the conference. That matchup will tip off this Thursday at 7. You can watch the action live on the Summit League Network or tune in on 107.9 The Fox. Now with the men's station in the Shields Arena, that meant it was the women's turn to hit the road as they headed to Denver last Thursday. The Bison had a perfect opportunity for as free of a win as you can get in college basketball, as Denver was reeling at 4-13 to start the season. Elle Evans got off to a hot start for the Bison, recording their first 7 points on the night, and she would receive some help though from Abby Schulte and Heaven Hamlin as the Bison headed into the half up with a slim 6-point lead. Yet coming out of the half, it would be a struggle to get that Bison offense going, as NDSU only mustered 16 in the third, yet they clung to a lead with their strong defense. But the Bison knew that the only quarter that truly matters scores is the fourth quarter, as NDSU poured it on, outscoring Denver 28-12 to close out the showdown with an eye-catching 84-63 win over the Pioneers. Sophomore Elle Evans led the charge, recording a double-double with 22 points to pair alongside 10 boards on the night. The offense just revolving around her. Heaven Hamlin assisted her with 15 points and 6 boards. Not her strongest performance, but definitely more than you can ask for. And Abby Schulte went perfect from the floor on the night, including 2 3-pointers that really gave the Bison that advantage late. Now, after the blowout win, the Bison were on a hot streak, rattling off 4 straight wins. And they would have this streak tested down south as they trekked to Tulsa to face an Oral Roberts squad that had been dominant on the young season. And it would be neck and neck to open the action, as neither team was able to pull away for long, but the Bison would be down 37-40 going into the half. And much like that Denver game, the Bison struggled heavily in the third quarter, only adding 11 points to their total. But while NDSU would rally in the fourth offensively, they were unable to stop an Oral Roberts attack that had been persistent all night long, falling short 75-84. Elle Evans was once again the Bison's top scorer with 23 points, supported by her amazing shooting from deep. And Avery Conan had one of her best nights yet with 14 points and 6 boards for the freshman. After the excruciating loss, the Bison will look to recollect themselves this weekend and get back on the winning track. They will have some help as they regain their home court advantage. For that challenger, a St. Thomas team that is neck and neck with the Bison in the standings and looking to jump ahead. This matchup can be watched on WDAY Extra or the Summit League Network, or you can also listen live on Bison 1660. Now, while NDSU may be known for its dominance in football, track and field is not too far behind. After a statement performance to open the season in last week's Bison Open, both teams would travel to Brookings to compete in the Jim Emmerich Invitational. The men's team would have a great showing, but fall just short of the ultimate prize, taking second place with a team score of 139.5. SDSU would win the meet with a score of 153.5. Now, Carter Eld was the highlight of the event, winning both the 4x400 relay and the 400-meter dash. The men would also dominate the field events, with Kanan Pastian, Cam Landis, Jared White, and Zach McGlynn all winning their respective events. The men would claim 6 events total, those being the 4x400, 400-meter, weight throw, shot put, pole vault, and the high jump. Now, while the men had a great showing, the women would outdo them, humiliating the competition with a statement win with a team score of 222. For reference, SDSU took second with 97 points. Just after a week after breaking NDSU records, both Nell Graham and Kendra Kelly would break records again, this time in different events. Graham shattered the school record in the 400-meter with their 53-second time, and Kelly clocked in at 23.75 in the 200-meter dash to improve on her own record set last season. The Bison also won the 4x400-meter relay, which featured both Graham and Kelly alongside Allie Niska and Casey Cooper. Now, after back-to-back weeks of dominating performances, both track and field teams look to continue their strong season as they head north to compete in the UND Open. That meet will kick off this Saturday at noon. And our last sport in today's Bison Sports Report is the Bison wrestling team, who had last week off after their match against Oregon State was canceled. The Bison would have matches in back-to-back days here in Fargo as they first hosted California Baptist in Big 12 conference play. Now, the Bison would fall behind quickly as they surrendered a 12-0 lead to Cal Baptist after being pinned in the first 2 matches of the night. But hope was not lost as number 29 overall Gavin Drexler would defeat Darren Green 9-6 in the 141-pound match. And Max Peterson and Landon Johnson would follow this up with victories as well to close out the first half. And while the first half was back and forth, the second half was all Bison, as Brendan Howes and Gavin Sachs scored massive victories to give the Bison the lead. And after having their lead reduced from a single point after a loss at 184 pounds, the Bison would close out the night with victories by Mooberry and Dawson to seal the win 25-15. After a tense night, the Bison would be forced to wake up the next day and get right back to work as Northern Colorado arrived in town to challenge a young Bison team. But yet again, the Bison started slow as they fell behind 8-0 after the first 2 matches. But the deja vu would not stop there as NDSU rattled off yet another winning run. Drexler, Peterson, and Landon Johnson all scored several takedowns to win their matches to give NDSU a 12-8 lead going into the break. Coming out of said break, NDSU would never look back as they would maintain the lead all all the way to the finish line, with Northern Colorado even forfeiting the heavyweight match. The Bison would triumph 27-14. Now, after the great home showing, the Bison will remain in town and use the week to rest up and refocus for squaring off against Air Force. The match will start this Sunday at 12:30. It can be watched live on WDAY Extra, or you can tune in on Bison 1660. Well, that is all I have for our week in Bison sports. Switching over to weather, which is on the forefront of any student's mind this time of year, has been starting to warm up a little as of late. Henry, should we expect that Fargo cold to shock us back in reality, or could we actually see some almost spring-like weather?
Hi NDSU, this is your Bison Weather Report. I'm Henry Raddick reporting from the desk. To right now, it is overcast with a temperature of 29 degrees Fahrenheit and a feels like of 23 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 89%, and winds are coming from the southwest at 9 miles an hour. Moving to our hour by hour, starting at 7 p.m. tonight, we'll have overcast skies at around 28 degrees. Going all the way to 6 a.m., we're going to have broken clouds at 21 with temperatures fluctuating, mostly going down as the hours go on, with the clouds still remaining. Moving to our skycast, sunrise was at 7:59 a.m. today, and sunset was at 5:20 p.m. today, with the total amount of sunlight being 9 hours and 21 minutes. Moving to our moon cast, we have a waning gibbous tonight. Our full moon was on the 25th, and our third quarter will be on February 2nd. Moving to today's almanac, today's temperatures, we had a high of 32 and a low of 24. Average temps on the day in the past were a high of 18 and a low of 0. And record temps were a high of 43 in 1926 and a low of negative 32 in 1977. Moving to our 7-day forecast, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're looking at temperatures of 33 degrees for Saturday and Sunday, and Friday and Saturday, and Sunday is looking at a high of 38, with the lows dipping into those 10s and low 20s, with some partially cloudy to sunny skies looking like it. Moving to the rest of our forecast, you can see here, it's going to be pretty warm on Wednesday, almost hitting 40 degrees. If only we had a little sun. But thankfully, Monday and Thursday we'll have some sun with some nice weather. Moving to our national days, it's National Classy Day and National Popeye the Sailor Man Day. Well, that's all I have for your weather, Bison Nation. Have a great day out there and enjoy that warm weather.
Thank you, Henry. I gotta say, I did not have temperatures reaching 40s in January on my bingo card. Now, while this is most likely going to be a short-lived warm period, I will definitely enjoy it nonetheless. Well, that is going to do it for this week's newscast. If you are interested in seeing our past broadcasts or some of our other shows, you can find us at Bison Information Network on YouTube. But until next time, take care and enjoy the warmer weather.